There is a specific, profound silence that descends upon the world after midnight. It is the hour when the mind, free from the mechanical distractions of the day, turns inward and begins its relentless accounting. In one room, a single man sleeps, his breathing deep and even, a picture of effortless repose, unbound and uncomplicated. In another room, separated only by a wall, a married man lies rigid, eyes wide open, staring into the crushing, absolute darkness. What cosmic separation in destiny, what terrible burden keeps one man trapped in the relentless cycle of anxiety, while the other enjoys the profound, simple peace of oblivion. This is the central, agonizing paradox explored by the philosopher of pessimism, Arthur Schopenhauer. He was the relentless skeptic who refused to see marriage as the glorious culmination of life, and the celebrated union of two souls finding wholeness. Schopenhauer viewed it instead as a binding contract of necessities, an entanglement rooted less in divine love or elevated passion, and more in biological imperative and uncomfortable social compromise. He argued that the core human ambition is to minimize pain, and nothing, perhaps, increases the potential for inevitable suffering and psychological pressure more efficiently than the introduction of a permanent co-pilot and the immediate multiplication of responsibilities. This is the foundation of the insomniac's fate. Before we delve into the intricate architecture of this argument, this chilling rationale for the peace of the single life, tell us immediately, what great city are you watching this analysis from? Your location provides the essential context for this universal experience of human anxiety. The single man possesses the supreme luxury of operating solely for himself. His budget is his own sanctuary. His time is his ultimate sovereign capital, and his decisions terminate exclusively with him. When he falters, the only consequence is personal discomfort, a stumble in his own solitary path. But the moment the vows are exchanged, the married man instantly ceases to be an island. He immediately acquires a second, infinitely complex existence tied inexorably to his own. Schopenhauer saw this merger not as a romantic joining, but as the fundamental creation of a liability that doubles every potential disaster, magnifies every external threat, and simultaneously halves every successful outcome because the gains must now be shared and redistributed. The anxiety that keeps the married man awake is not a simple, minor fear. It is the corrosive, profound realization that his financial solvency, his societal reputation, and his core emotional stability are now perpetually contingent upon the stability, the behavior, and the fate of at least one other person. He is no longer solely responsible for navigating the inevitable storms of existence. He is suddenly and permanently responsible for steering a fragile, heavily laden ship carrying precious, irreplaceable cargo through waters that are universally turbulent. Every financial downturn is magnified into a crisis. Every single illness, once a personal inconvenience, now threatens the structural integrity of the entire household. This is the weight of accountability that crushes the spirit in the dead of night. The single man is the ultimate sovereign. His solitude is his sanctuary, and his choices are utterly unmonitored. This freedom, this radical self-possession, is the engine of the intellectual peace that Schopenhauer champions as the highest good. The philosopher argues that genius and true intellectual reflection often require profound solitude, the ability to retreat absolutely from the trivial demands of the world to commune with higher, difficult thoughts. Marriage, however, demands constant negotiation, perpetual compromise, and the painful sacrifice of one's highest, most idiosyncratic desires for the sake of monotonous domestic harmony. The married man lies awake because he profoundly misses the fundamental simplicity of his former existence. He has traded the boundless freedom of potential for the defined, predictable, and ultimately restrictive structure of necessity. His every thought, every ambition, every impulse must now pass through the critical filter of, how will this decision affect the stability of the household? His deep passion for radical travel, his fundamental need for absolute silence, his desire for dangerous, radical career shifts. All these are instantly weighed, carefully measured, and routinely discarded on the scales of marital expediency. He is trapped, not by actual iron chains, but by subtle threads of mutual dependence that are far harder to sever than any obvious physical shackle. This is the silent, pervasive terror that consumes the insomniac, the understanding that one's life is no longer fully, singularly one's own, but a joint enterprise where veto power exists everywhere and independence has been rendered obsolete. We must also confront the immediate, vulgar pressure that Schopenhauer viewed as the most persistent source of marital misery: the financial chain. For him, money is the great mediator of suffering. It is the essential buffer zone between the individual and the crushing, violent reality of need. Marriage, almost universally, necessitates a profound, geometric, and permanent increase in expenditure. Where the single man needed only sustenance and shelter for himself, the married man requires a substantial home, furnishings, expensive security, and a vast future buffer for children who demand an escalating generational commitment of resources. The pursuit of wealth for the married man ceases to be a personal, high-stakes game of ambition and transforms into a crushing, mandatory, moral obligation. The anxiety that prevents his sleep is almost always rooted in the cold, hard mathematics of provision. The sheer weight of supporting not just himself, but a growing family, forces the married man into professional choices he despises, demanding absolute conformity and the complete suppression of risky, potentially more rewarding ventures. He must choose the reliable, soul-crushing paycheck over the dangerous, fulfilling passion. He must maintain the appearance of prosperity, even when the internal emotional and financial structures are secretly crumbling. He has traded the philosophical liberty of poverty for the grinding servitude of necessary affluence. The single man, even if destitute, can embrace his simplicity with a kind of philosophical dignity. The married man, struggling or poor, faces the terrible contempt and the potential suffering of his dependents, a burden he cannot shake. This absolute necessity of being constantly productive, constantly successful, constantly providing, regardless of personal exhaustion or existential dread, is the ultimate price of the wedding band. It is the iron collar that chafes viciously in the darkest, most vulnerable hours of the night. Furthermore, we must confront the metaphysical trick that Schopenhauer believed lay at the destructive heart of the institution. Marriage is the supreme mandate of the blind, ruthless will to live, the universal unconscious force compelling existence and reproduction, utterly regardless of the individual's subjective happiness. The young man is seduced by the illusion of romantic completion, by the biological imperative ruthlessly disguised as high-minded, selfless love. He enters the contract believing it will solve his loneliness, only to discover, with horrifying clarity, that it has merely traded one simple, manageable form of suffering for another, far more complex, permanent, and intractable variety. The married man lies awake not just due to the weight of mortgages and logistical scheduling conflicts, but because he has been brutally used by a biological force that cares absolutely nothing for his intellectual peace or his personal fulfillment. The single man, by defiantly refusing the chain of reproduction, retains a crucial degree of defiance against the tyranny of nature. He is a self-willed end, an autonomous being, not a mere means for the propagation of the species. The married man, gazing at the faces of his children, loves them fiercely and completely, but he simultaneously recognizes them as the ultimate, non-negotiable guarantee of his perpetual servitude. They are existential anchors, tethering him inescapably to the world of endless suffering and perpetual struggle, confirming his definitive role as a necessary, subjugated participant in the brutal, tragic comedy of existence. Schopenhauer's analysis is brutal, unflinching, yet deeply honest about the true cost of coupling. It demands that we confront the deep, fundamental sacrifices inherent in exchanging individual, singular autonomy for predictable social stability. The specific phrase that defines this crushing trade-off is the sudden, a chilling realization: I am fully accountable now. That phrase perfectly captures the entire weight of that crushing anxiety. Immediately share that exact line, "I am fully accountable now," in the comments section below, affirming the foundational truth of this philosophical insight in your own life. Your engagement absolutely validates the depth and universality of this shared human experience. We know this perspective resonates profoundly with your own observations about the structure of the world. So secure your position within this community of strategic, deep thinkers and hit the like and subscribe buttons right now. By doing this, you guarantee you will not miss the next crucial step in this discussion, where we will unpack the second, equally destructive layer of marital anxiety, the intellectual and emotional disillusionment that systematically follows the initial romantic euphoria. That next session delves deeply into the subtle, predictable ways that compatibility predictably fades and corrosive contempt quietly takes root. Prepare yourself for that profound realization of disillusionment. The next part of this analysis is coming soon. The single man closes his eyes and enters a simple darkness, a private void that mirrors his uncomplicated life. His anxieties are his own, manageable demons that reside within the confines of a single consciousness. He sleeps, perhaps lightly, perhaps dreamlessly, but his peace, when it comes, is absolute, because his world is only the world of his immediate self. But the married man, Schopenhauer tells us, knows no such simple tranquility. He lies awake in the vast, suffocating silence of the night, and his mind is not merely wrestling with his own existence. It is calculating the fate of an entire fragile ecosystem he created. His consciousness is suddenly a fortress under siege, and the enemy is not the philosophical emptiness of being, but the relentless, inescapable pressure of necessity. This is not merely a difference in responsibility. It is a fundamental shift in the texture of suffering. The single man faces the suffering of lack, the sting of loneliness, the absence of connection, the existential dread of being solely responsible for creating meaning. These are vast, airy, philosophical sufferings that, by their very nature, allow for mental escape. They are abstract and therefore negotiable by the will. The married man, conversely, faces the suffering of abundance, the abundance of obligation, the multitude of external dependencies, the ceaseless demand for maintenance. These sufferings are material, concrete, and domestic. They possess sharp edges and hard deadlines. They cannot be argued away with philosophy. They demand action, payment, and constant vigilance. Schopenhauer saw that the deepest error in marrying lay in the illusion of shared burden. We are told, through centuries of societal conditioning, that marriage halves our grief and doubles our joy. This, the philosopher asserts, is the cruelest deception of the will, the biological imperative cloaked in social veneer. In reality, marriage doubles the stakes of every potential disaster and multiplies the logistical friction required for daily survival. The single man's catastrophic financial scenario involves his own poverty. The married man's catastrophe involves the poverty of his unit, the mortgage payment, the education fund, the doctor's bill, the structural integrity of the roof. His personal survival is now inextricably linked to the survival of others who are, crucially, often weaker or less capable of self-defense against the world's brutality. This transfer of responsibility transforms the man from a sovereign individual into a perpetual night watchman, constantly scanning the horizon for storms that threaten not just his ship, but the entire fleet tied to his mast. Tell me, as this existential weight begins to settle on the shoulders of the married man, where exactly are you absorbing this truth tonight? What city is sharing this moment of realization? The transition from solitary worry to corporate anxiety is where peace is permanently sacrificed. The single man can make radical decisions. He can quit his job, move across the continent, or live frugally in a small, rented room. His flexibility is his supreme luxury. But the married man finds that his options have been systematically eliminated by the sheer weight of acquired goods and established routines. He is imprisoned by his possessions and his promises. Every choice he makes is measured against the gravitational pull of the family unit. To quit the job is not freedom. It is economic abandonment. To move is not adventure. It is displacement and disruption. His life ceases to be a product of his free will and becomes a dictated sequence of necessary actions. This is the definition of true entrapment. the psychological realization that one's actions are no longer truly optional. The single man's quiet hours are spent in reflection, in the pursuit of knowledge, or in the deliberate cultivation of self. These are activities that address the primary source of human suffering, the will's endless, unsatisfied striving. The married man's quiet hours, those agonizing moments before dawn, are spent in inventory, checking balances, reviewing commitments, anticipating domestic conflicts, and forecasting the next 6 months of required performance. His intellect is diverted from the grand, universal problems to the small, pressing, perishable problems of maintenance. Schopenhauer highlights the destruction of intellectual sovereignty. Genius, true deep thought, requires a degree of detachment, and of freedom from the tyranny of the immediate and the domestic. The single man, if inclined, can dedicate himself to the abstract and the universal. The married man, however, is perpetually dragged back to the particular. He is the provider, the fixer, the negotiator of emotional space. His mind is occupied not with the nature of reality, but with the specific reality of the leaking faucet or the disagreement over which school to choose. This endless preoccupation with the trivial, forced upon him by the contractual nature of matrimony, slowly suffocates his higher potential. The single man suffers nobly, perhaps. The married man suffers necessarily, which is far worse. Consider the burden of constant negotiation. Peace, for the married man, is not a default state. It is a meticulously constructed truce, renegotiated daily. The single man's inner life, while chaotic, is sovereign. He does not have to justify his mood, his silence, or his sudden desire for solitude. The married man must constantly adjust his internal landscape to meet the external demands of his partner and family. He must perform emotional labor even when exhausted. He must filter his philosophical despair, his professional frustrations, and his personal fatigue through the lens of domestic harmony. The lying awake is the mind's desperate attempt to process this emotional complexity that cannot be solved during the day. It is the subconscious auditing the relationship balance sheet, tallying the compromises made versus the authentic self sacrificed. The single man might lie awake wrestling with the meaning of life, and the married man lies awake wrestling with the meaning of his wife's sigh at dinner, or the implication of a slight remark made earlier that day, knowing that if left unaddressed, this microscopic friction could escalate into a major, peace-destroying conflict. His peace is contingent, fragile, and eternally threatened by factors outside his complete control. Furthermore, the married man is bound by the shared future, a concept that fundamentally limits Schopenhauerian freedom. The single man lives in the present, with only the past to contend with. The married man lives under the shadow of the projected future, a future that involves exponential financial planning, the inevitability of aging parents, the raising of children into responsible adults, and the maintenance of a social facade. This future is a massive, immovable object, and the man must spend every waking and sleeping moment ensuring he has the momentum to push it forward. This obligation to the future transforms every minor setback into a profound crisis. A lost promotion for the single man is a professional disappointment. For the married man, it is a catastrophic failure of provision that impacts 4 or 5 other lives. This elevation of risk is the fuel for the sleepless nights. He is calculating contingency plans for scenarios he has not even yet faced, because the penalty for not being prepared is too high to bear. This vigilance is the true cost of domestic security. It trades existential freedom for logistical anxiety. Schopenhauer observes the fundamental difference in the nature of regret. The single man's regrets are often about opportunities missed, paths not taken, or intellectual endeavors abandoned. These are regrets of the will, abstract losses that, while painful, do not jeopardize his physical comfort or social standing in an immediate sense. The married man's regrets, however, are immediate and irreversible. The regret of having chosen the wrong partner, the regret of having tied himself to someone whose will is incompatible with his own, the regret of having surrendered his flexibility for the appearance of stability. These regrets are woven into the very fabric of his daily routine. They share his breakfast table and occupy the space beside him in bed. They are material and constant. This brings us back to the silence of the night. The married man is trapped in a room with the consequences of his most profound social contract. His escape routes, the spontaneity, and the intellectual pursuits, the radical freedom, have been boarded up by necessity. He listens to the rhythmic breathing beside him, and that sound is not necessarily one of comfort or security. Often, Schopenhauer suggests, it is the sound of his own chains rattling, the audible confirmation that his life is no longer his exclusive property. His peace is forever conditional, granted only by the temporary satisfaction of everyone else's needs. The single man sleeps peacefully because his only true obligation is to the terrifying freedom of his own consciousness. The married man lies awake because he must continually prove his competence to a world that judges him not on his philosophical enlightenment, but on his ability to maintain a complicated, expensive, and fragile domestic structure. He is perpetually on duty, the will's highest paid, lowest rewarded servant. And the moment he closes his eyes, he fears the structure he supports will collapse, crushing him under the combined weight of mortgage, expectation, and relational friction. The peace of the single man is rooted in his minimalism. The anxiety of the married man stems from his abundance. His life is a machine that demands constant tending, and the hum of this machine is what keeps him perpetually awake. We are witnessing the profound philosophical cost of societal norms, the exchange of existential suffering for logistical panic. The ultimate irony is that the married man sought to escape loneliness through connection, only to discover a deeper, more profound isolation. The isolation of being solely responsible for the fate of his own voluntary bondage. He stares into the darkness, not seeking answers, but simply reviewing the checklist of the necessary burdens that await him at sunrise. This realization about the true nature of relational power is foundational to controlling your fate. We are committed to exposing the truths that society hides. This material deserves to be shared with every man wrestling with these philosophical anchors. Therefore, affirm your commitment to genuine strength by commenting below with the phrase, "The price of necessity." Demonstrate your understanding of this profound lesson by hitting that like button immediately. And if you are serious about mastering the hidden rules of existence, ensure you are subscribed now. We are currently preparing the final part of this powerful series, which details the ultimate Schopenhauerian escape from these pressures. You will not want to miss the profound clarity that awaits in the final analysis. It will shatter your view of obligation forever. The married man lies suspended in the agonizing hour between 3 and 4 in the morning, the darkest quadrant of the human night. It is the hour when the mind, exhausted by the day's duties, finds itself stripped bare of all comforting illusions. The anxiety is no longer about the mortgage or the sick child or the argument from yesterday. Those are merely the practical manifestations, the surface conditions of a much deeper, systemic, metaphysical disease. Arthur Schopenhauer forces us to look past the symptoms and confront the brutal diagnosis. The sleeplessness is the final, undeniable proof that the individual's life has been irrevocably confiscated by the will. The married man has ceased to be an autonomous self. He is now merely the functional, burdened unit of the species, and his anxiety is the alarm bell of the soul recognizing its own servitude. This is the ultimate terrifying climax of the decision to marry. It is the realization that the initial romantic impulse, the brief, intense delusion of finding the one, was simply the species' will whispering a beautiful, necessary lie into the ear of the individual. That whispered lie served only one master, the next generation. Once the biological mission is accomplished, the individual is left with the wreckage of management and the crushing weight of existential accountability. This pervasive sense of existential debt, this philosophical wakefulness, is universal. It crosses every geography and every culture, touching every man who has exchanged his intellectual sovereignty for domestic continuity. Tell me, right now, as you absorb this difficult truth, from which city are you observing this relentless dynamic of human existence? I want to know where this insight is landing and resonating with your own profound observations of the world. The single man sleeps peacefully because he is fundamentally solvent on the metaphysical ledger. He carries only the light weight of his own existence, a burden he can momentarily set down in the unconsciousness of sleep. His worries are bounded by his own skin and the limits of his immediate projects. If he fails, he alone suffers the consequence. His life is a solitary equation that always solves back to zero upon his death. He owes nothing to the future except the maintenance of his own philosophical freedom. His potential for suffering ends with him. The married man, conversely, is profoundly, irreversibly insolvent. He is weighted down by the future he has manufactured and the lives he has initiated. He is responsible for the health, the education, the moral character, and the entire socio-economic viability of the next generation. These responsibilities are not mere chores. They are permanent anchor chains dropped into the deepest recesses of the future. They are the collateral demanded by the will for its temporary use of his body. And the problem, as Schopenhauer defines existence, is that the future is merely the extension of suffering. The sleepless husband stares into the darkness, not seeing his wife or his children, but seeing the unending chain of causality he has initiated. He has brought new beings into a world Schopenhauer defines as the worst of all possible worlds, a place where pain is positive, suffering is inherent, and happiness is merely the temporary cessation of want. His anxiety is the recognition of his grandest error. He has multiplied suffering. He has ensured that the cosmic debt, the debt of existence itself, continues through his lineage. This is the final, profound difference between the two men. The single man, the philosopher, the intellectual sovereign, can, theoretically, detach himself from the will and achieve a state of resignation, an ascetic peace, achievable through the contemplation of eternal ideas, art, or intellectual work. He can neutralize the demands of desire by denying the life force. His suffering is internal, intellectual, and therefore manageable. His escape route remains open. His ultimate quietude is possible. The married man has intentionally and permanently welded himself back into the machine of the will. His life is now externally validated and driven. His suffering is practical, physical, and inescapably external. Every sleepless night is the will demanding its collateral. The cost of his brief, deluded moment of romantic desire is perpetual vigilance, the complete erosion of philosophical solitude, and the constant fear of catastrophe hitting the family unit. The marriage, stripped of the initial illusion, settles into a state of mutual necessity and shared misery. Two prisoners chained together, who, having resented the process of their chaining, must now cooperate meticulously to survive the prison. Consider the realm of intellectual pursuits. The single man can dedicate his entire existence, his full mental energy, to the disinterested contemplation of truth. He seeks the universal. The married man is confined to the particular. His mental effort is spent calculating budgets, worrying about school fees, managing domestic disputes, and navigating complex social obligations designed to protect the nest. His focus shrinks from the boundless ocean of philosophical inquiry to the suffocating confines of the matrimonial lifeboat. He trades the pursuit of eternal wisdom for the immediate, relentless demands of survival management. The peace that eludes him is the peace of knowing you are free from necessity. The single man can choose poverty and philosophical richness, prioritizing intellectual freedom over material comfort. The married man must choose solvency and material stability, even if it compromises his soul, his time, and his deepest intellectual yearnings. He must succeed in the marketplace, not for the sake of his own self-fulfillment, but because failure means disaster for those he brought into existence. He has exchanged freedom for servitude. So, the definitive conclusion is grim. The single man sleeps peacefully because his existence remains his own property, managed by his own intellect. The married man lies awake because his existence has been collectivized, hijacked by the will of the species, leaving him a sentinel permanently guarding a prison constructed of promises and children. His anxiety is the ultimate triumph of the will over the individual, a nightly, agonizing tax paid for participating in the grand deception of procreation. There is no ultimate remedy within the structure of marriage, only duty and endurance. He chose responsibility. and responsibility pays its wages in sleeplessness and perpetual dread. This truth is often too sharp for the public ear. People prefer the comforting lie of romantic love and social stability to the hard reality of biological determinism and philosophical nihilism. But Schopenhauer forces us to see the cold, cruel mechanism of the will. And once you see the mechanism, the sleeplessness of the married man is no longer a personal, specific tragedy. It is a predictable, mathematical consequence of choosing to serve the relentless life force rather than transcend it. This level of insight, this refusal to accept comforting lies, is essential for navigating the complex realities of modern existence. We understand that this deeper, philosophical knowledge provides immense leverage in your life. It transforms your ability to judge situations and predict outcomes. We know that these profound truths resonate deeply with people dedicated to real, unvarnished insight. Because this philosophy is so vital, and because this perspective challenges deeply ingrained social assumptions, we demand this of you. Suggest one single powerful phrase in the comments, something that precisely summarizes the existential burden of the married man, so that we can solidify this essential community of thoughtful observers. Lock in this intellectual alliance with a powerful comment right now and drop that phrase below. Furthermore, we need you to secure your connection to this stream of uncompromising truth. Hit that subscribe button and activate the notifications immediately. Do not risk letting these profound discussions vanish into the noise of the algorithm. We are building a definitive collection of the most powerful insights ever conceived, and we insist that you are part of this defining journey. And prepare yourself, because the next chapter we unfold dives into the critical nature of intellectual patience, examining why the modern addiction to instant gratification is destroying the very ability to attain true mastery and profound wisdom. We are going to reveal the essential difference between immediate action and profound strategy, an insight that will fundamentally change how you approach ambition and success in every arena of your life. That essential wisdom is coming next. Be ready to absorb it.